Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National Timely Action Hour. This is the show where we talk about everything from comic books to movies and everything in between. My name is Aiden, and I hope that you're doing well today. So, as I record this, it is a few days after I saw Supergirl 2026, the opening day, and I just wanted to have a few days to gestate and think about what I liked and what I did not like about this movie, and really clear the air in my mind, at least, on what worked, what did not work, what could have been improved, and my overall thoughts on this movie. And I wrote them down in my notebook so that I could have a clear and concise, structure for this video, because normally I like to do things off the cuff, and I did come from an improv background because I took acting lessons when I was a child, and I did some stage plays, and one of the main lessons that my acting teacher imparted was improv, so I like to use that. I like to make up jokes on the fly while I'm in the middle of recording, or while I'm in the middle of writing my, stories or poems. And I want to get a more clear idea of this video. And this is going to be discussing spoilers. So if you have not seen the film yet, I just recommend watching it for yourself to form your own opinion. Don't let my thoughts influence whether or not you go see a movie. This is just what I think about it. And I've seen a lot of discourse on the internet and on social media around this film because of various different things. Some of it is genuine criticism, while other parts are just culture war nonsense, which I hate. And getting into the things that I hate, this movie was written by Anna Naguria. I do apologize if I am mispronouncing her name, but I have not, to my knowledge, seen any movie or TV show that has her writing before. And I do know that she is working on the Wonder Woman script as well as the Teen Titans script. And this was directed by Craig Gillespie. The only other movie I've seen directed by him was I, Tonya, which I thought was pretty good. I don't know how that compares to the real life story of Tonya, but I thought the movie was fine. Actually, not fine, pretty good. But this movie's story is based on the Supergirl graphic novel Woman of Tomorrow, written by Tom King and illustrated by Bilquis Evely. Again, I do apologize if I am mispronouncing that name. But the only positive thing I have to say about the Woman of Tomorrow story is I liked a couple of positive things. I liked the art. It was beautiful, in my opinion. Again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Form your own opinions on art, stories, literature, plays, films, songs, etc. But I thought that the artwork in that story was beautiful. I especially love the vibrant colors, which are a contrast to the dark story. But the other thing I liked is seeing a vision of the future where we see Supergirl grown up. And I like that. And the fact that they use her classic origin story, which is also why that part is in the positive, because in the movie they also use her classic origin story. But circling back to the negative, based on Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King and Bilquis Evely, I hate the story, and I hate Tom King for a number of reasons. When DC Rebirth happened, he was given the main Batman title, And I read the first arc. I liked it. But after the second arc, oh boy. His writing is not my favorite. That's one of the reasons why I hate him. And he's currently writing Wonder Woman as I record this. He's been writing Wonder Woman for a couple of years now. But I've poked my head in because Wonder Woman is one of my favorite characters. Poked my head in, didn't like it. I read Woman of Tomorrow. Not that big of a fan of it, aside from the art and that one story beat. But yeah, I just don't like Tom King's writing. And the other reason why I hate him is because before he was hired by DC Comics, before he actually got into writing comic books, he was a member, he was an employee of the United States' Central Intelligence Agency, and he has joked about committing war crimes, which is no laughing matter. And we do know that he did some black ops in Afghanistan and Iraq during those wars. So that's why I don't like him, because I don't like his writing. And, you know, he's like, oh, I regret it now. Well, when you make a joke about committing a war crime, it doesn't seem like you regret your actions, man. So he seems like a crappy person, in my opinion. And I try to be positive. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but in this circumstance, yikes. And that's the top point, because it's based on this douchebag's work. Secondly, not all of the jokes land for me personally. Again, humor is subjective. One person will find something funny, another will not. That's completely fine. But it seems, just like general millennial humor, Marvel, cinematic universe, quippy jokes that are stupid and lame. The third point is that the movie confirms that Jor-El and Lara were evil in this universe. And I don't like that because... And you might be saying, Aiden, in your review of Supergirl Volume 5, Number 5, you said that you enjoyed the story where it reveals that her father, Zor-El, was evil. Well, allow me to explain myself. I think that story works because of a few different reasons. One, we've already seen a good version of Jor-El pre-crisis. This is the post-crisis origin. Two, Zor-El has always had this, air about him that he is different yet similar to his brother Jor-El. Three, it works within that story. And four, it has a unique literary connection or historical connection, depending on what you believe, and I enjoy that. So, yeah, I would prefer if Zor-El and Allura, Supergirl's parents, and Jor-El and Lara, Superman's parents, were good, but, within that story, it worked. Within the main version that is presented, again, that was the main version that was presented of Zor-El for a few years until they rebooted, but as the main version, I would prefer that it remains classic, because I prefer the classic version. So good parents, good adopted parents, and good person for Superman and Supergirl, because Linda Danvers, Supergirl's alias pre-crisis, post-crisis, she was just Kara Danvers, which is okay. That's still your first name, but whatever. But again, the Danverses were good people, and the L's were good people for the most part. So also, Zor-El hating his brother is a very human thing, even though they're Kryptonian, but still, you know what I mean. But, yeah. But I don't like how the movie confirms that that Jor-El and Lara were evil in this universe, because this is going to be the main version that people are introduced to and see before, because we all know that the comic book industry is in dire straits. I will admit that. I prefer comic books to the movie adaptations for the most part. Sometimes a movie is really good, and sometimes it exceeds the story that it's based on. Those are very, very rare occasions, but it has happened before. But, you know, when people are introduced to these characters through movies and TV shows before actually reading comic books, if they ever read comic books, I would prefer that we use the classic versions. Either the first appearance version or the one that is the most mainstream and popular. So either Golden Age or Silver Age, or if they were introduced in the Bronze Age, the Bronze Age. But that's just me. Don't kill the messenger. But another thing that I did not like was the fact that the villain, Krem of the Yellow Hills, was pretty lackluster, especially compared to the comic that this book is based on. I think that Krem in that book is a decent enough villain, and we get enough backstory for him. Here, he's just bad guy. We don't learn that much about him, and he's just there to serve the plot. And I don't like that. A villain should be fleshed out enough that we know who they are, understand their motivations, don't necessarily agree with them, because a lot of people are weird and are like, oh, the villain was right. Are you insane? The villain is never right unless they're saying, hey, this other guy is evil. He's worse than me. So I'm gonna, give you this information to help you on your quest to defeat them, but I'm still evil. Also, getting into that, the last point that I have in the negative is that Supergirl learns the wrong lesson at the end of the film by killing Krem. She stabs him in the gut as revenge for Krypto, and then she stabs him in the neck for revenge for Ruthie's family. And in some instances, I'm okay with revenge, but Supergirl should not seek revenge. She should not be a killer, nor should her cousin Superman, nor should Batman, Wonder Woman, any of the Robins or Wonder Girls. 90% of superheroes should not be killers. The Punisher, yes. Ghost Rider, he's an agent of the devil. The Spectre, he's an agent of God. These characters are fine with killing, and I'm okay with them killing. It's just everyone else should not be a killer, because these are moralistic fables written for children to instill good morality in them, to teach them right from wrong. These are, I can't believe I'm saying this, but these are, as per Grant Morrison, the modern mythology, and this should not be the standard, and I hate it, and I vehemently disagree with it. So that's why it's in the negative section. You fucking chud who thinks that Superman should be snapping General Zod's neck and razing Metropolis to the ground because Zack Snyder had a vision. Fuck you. That's bullshit. James Gunn, that is strike two, because strike one was the Peacemaker season 2 show, and strike 2 is here. Strike 3, you're out, buddy. I want you to succeed because I want you to make good stories based on these characters that I love or don't really care for, but other people love. I want good movies and TV shows based off of things that I enjoy. Is that too much to ask? Things that adhere to the source material while also being able to do their own thing, because creativity needs to thrive. I am a writer myself, so I fervently believe that. But when you are just being Jimmy Goon the Gooner, wanting to cuck yourself with John Cena having sex with your wife on TV, or when you hire the creative team behind the Flash movie to write and direct the Batman movie in your universe, what the fuck? But that's strike two, buddy. For the positives, I enjoyed Millie Alcock's portrayal of Supergirl. I thought she captured her grief very well. And I thought that she, she's a beautiful woman and she fits the role physically. This is the only thing I've ever seen her in, this and the Superman movie, so I don't know that much about her acting ability, but I think she's pretty good. This is also pretty early on in her career, so that's also why. But I think that she has a bright future ahead of her. I liked Superman's appearance. He shows up in a flashback when she arrives on Earth, and he shows up at the end when she returns to Earth at the end of the story, and they have a heart-to-heart, and I thought it was well done in terms of the writing and the performances, because David Corenswet, I've only ever seen him as Superman or in the horror movie Pearl. I think he's great, and I really enjoy him as Superman. So seeing him was a treat. And as I said earlier, I like that they use her Silver Age origin story. I like the soundtrack. They chose some good songs, and the original score was done well, in my opinion. I'm not a musical critic, so I can't really talk about the harmony or the instruments that they chose, but I liked it. The cinematography looked very good. There were some really cool shots of her flying around in space, or just slow-mo punching a guy, or just the landscape view was all done well, in my opinion. I enjoyed seeing Crypto the Superdog, and it was sad when he got poisoned, but I'm happy that they cured him. And I liked Ruthie, the actress who played Ruthie. Her quest for revenge against Krem was, like in the story. But also, another negative that I forgot to write down, but just remembered, is that they changed the ending. So, what the fuck? But anyway, and I like the special effects. They were pretty good too. And yeah, that's about it in terms of the positives and the negatives. And there's no post-credit scene, so don't, waste your time sitting through the credits unless you want to, see all of the people who worked on this movie, because there were a lot of people who worked on this movie, and I appreciate their efforts. But on a scale of 1 to 5, I rate movies 1 to 5, with 1 being horrible, 5 being amazing, because I used letterboxd.com. Excuse me, I'll leave a link to my profile so you can follow me, so you can check out my reviews of other movies. But on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being horrible, 5 being amazing, I would give this a 3.5. This is not amazing, but not horrible. I've seen a lot of discourse on this, as I said earlier, and people are saying that it's trash. Some people are saying that it's peak cinema. Some people are saying that it's okay. And other people are saying that it's good. A lot of mixed reactions and reviews. That's why I wanted to really sit with this for a few days and think, I liked parts of this movie. The main criticism is that it's based on fucking Tom King's work. I'm not familiar with Bill Quist's Evely, But again, I like their art. I don't know if they're a man or a woman or a transgender person, but I enjoyed their work on the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow story. But the writer that they were paired with, good God, I do not like him one bit. That's the main criticism, but I thought it was a decent movie. There were enjoyable parts. There were things that did not work for me, which I've already discussed, but I'm not going to lambast this and say that it's, the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It's not The Room, it's not Daughter of the Wolf starring Gina Carano, and it's not Batman and Robin, directed by the late great Joel Schumacher. Joel Schumacher was a great director, and he seemed like a nice man, but that entire movie was just studio mandate after studio mandate, and God bless him, he did his job, and may he rest in peace. But oh boy, that was not a good movie in my opinion. But yeah, that is my review of Supergirl, the 2026 movie, written by Anna Naguria, directed by Craig Gillespie, and the second film in the DC Cinematic Universe as per created by James Gunn and Peter Safran, starring Millie Alcock as the titular Woman of Tomorrow, based on the Woman of Tomorrow story arc. But if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. If you're new to my show, please subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when I post new videos. Share this with your friends. Please leave a comment telling me your thoughts on the movie, or suggesting any future videos you'd like to see. If you're on your mobile device, please hype this. And in the description of the video, you'll find the links to my social media profiles, as well as my podcast and my Letterboxd, as well as my Patreon page and merch store. So if you'd like to support my show financially, I'd greatly appreciate that. You also get exclusive content on patreon.com. But thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I sincerely hope that you all have a wonderful day. Bye.